You were born on an ordinary day. But what no one ever told you is that on that day, a pact was sealed, one that began long before you were even born. Your birth date holds clues from a life you've lived before. And the things you feel today, that unnamed longing, that unexplainable fear, that natural gift you never learned, may simply be echoes of who you once were. Are you ready to uncover something most people spend their whole lives never knowing? Ancient numerologists and spiritual masters believe that the date you were born contains direct traces of your past life. And that's exactly what you're about to explore now. Imagine finding out that centuries ago you were a warrior, a healer, or someone with a sacred mission. And part of that story still lives within you. Your birth date is like a forgotten key, and in this video, you'll use that key to open a door no one else can open for you. But a word of caution, if you ignore this, you may spend the rest of your life wondering why the same things keep happening to you. Drop your birth date in the comments. You'll be surprised by how many others have lived through the same patterns. And share this video with someone your age who keeps asking, why is life always like this for me? If you felt that something inside you has been waiting for answers for a long time, keep watching, because today might finally be the day you find what you've always been looking for. Maybe you've already had moments in life where things felt too familiar to be coincidence. According to Buddhist teachings, our existence is part of an infinite cycle known as Samsara, where every life continues the story of the one before. Here, nothing happens by chance. Everything is a direct result of past actions, what we call karma. Now, imagine yourself walking barefoot through an ancient temple. You feel the cool stone beneath your feet. You hear the distant sound of bells and chants echoing through the air. You're not who you are today. Maybe you were a warrior whose bravery echoed across battlefields, or a healer who used the wisdom of plants to save lives. Perhaps you had the extraordinary ability to heal with just a look, someone revered, someone whose presence brought peace and comfort. These images that arise in your mind right now, they're not just fantasy. They're fragments of spiritual memory, moments your unconscious is trying to bring back to light. According to ancient numerology, your birth date is a portal that opens directly into your past lives, revealing behavioral patterns, hidden talents, and even the spiritual challenges you must face today to continue evolving. That's why, even without knowing it, you may feel deeply drawn to certain cultures, professions, or specific types of people. Your spirit remembers what your mind cannot explain. These powerful connections are direct reflections of experiences you've already lived, and today you'll finally have the chance to understand those unexplained feelings and discover the real reason behind the situations you keep experiencing. Now, let's unlock the specific stories tied to the exact day you were born. Each number carries its own energy, pointing clearly to the life you lived before this one, and how that life is still shaping the one you're living now. This is the moment to look at your birth date with new eyes. It's not just a number on a calendar, it's a spiritual code. We've divided birth dates into groups. Each group shares a common energetic imprint, inherited from similar experiences in past lives. Take a moment, close your eyes, and focus on your birthday. Not the month, just the number. If you were born on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th, you belong to Group 1. If your day is the 6th through the 10th, you're in Group 2, and so on. Group 1, days 1, 5. Group 2, days 6, 10. Group 3, days 11, 15. Group 4, days 16, 20. Group 5, days 21, 25. Group 6, days 20, 31. This kind of grouping awakens something powerful, our natural instinct for self-recognition. When we hear something that feels like it's speaking directly to us, our brain lights up, because deep down, we're all searching for one thing: to understand where we truly belong, or in this case, where our soul has already been. If your birthday falls between the 1st and 5th, you carry ancestral energy marked by solitary leadership and the weight of responsibility from an early age. In a past life, you were someone who had to make tough decisions at a young age. Maybe a battlefield strategist, a priestess isolated for being too wise too soon, or a wandering mystic who never truly settled down, yet was followed by many, even without asking to be. Energetic records show these souls had a common signature. They took on leadership not because they wanted control, but because they radiated clarity. Others looked to them, not out of obligation, but instinct. Maybe you still feel that now, that everyone expects you to have it together, even when you're just as lost inside. The karma you carry is tied to hyper-independence. In past lives, you learned to survive alone. You stopped asking for help. You became the strong one, always, and even today that shows up as difficulty trusting others, trouble showing vulnerability, or a constant feeling that no one really understands you. But your soul's mission in this life is different. You're not here to carry the world on your back anymore. You came to relearn how to share the load, to trust, to open up emotionally without fear of being seen as weak, because showing softness is also a kind of strength. If you feel like you're constantly carrying everything yourself, it's not a flaw. It's spiritual memory. And healing starts the moment you realize your soul has already led enough. Now, it's time to let yourself be held too. If this resonated with you and your birth date is between the 1st and 5th, drop your number in the comments and share what you felt. Group 2, born between the 6th and 10th. If you were born between the 6th and 10th, your soul carries the vibration of a silent guardian, a caretaker of others' well-being. In a past life, you were what we call a healing soul, someone who lived for others and often forgot about themselves. Maybe you were a village healer, a midwife, a record keeper who preserved memories so they wouldn't be lost, or someone who quietly carried the grief and burdens of an entire community without ever complaining. These souls didn't seek the spotlight, but they were the emotional center of everyone around them. Your presence brought peace people felt safe with you, even if they didn't know why. You probably still feel that today. Strangers confide in you. Friends open up. And you often feel others' pain like it's your own. The karma you carry runs deep. Self-abandonment. In past lives, you were taught to put others first. So much so that self-care felt selfish. Now, that shows up in relationships where you give more than you get, or feel guilty when you say no. Sometimes you don't even know what you truly want, because you've spent lifetimes tending to everyone else, but your mission in this lifetime has changed. You're here to reclaim your individuality without guilt, to learn that putting yourself first isn't betrayal, it's balance. The universe wants you to know, being empathetic doesn't mean being a martyr. You're not here to disappear again behind everyone else's needs. You came to listen to yourself, to honor yourself, to remember that your light matters too, not just to guide others, but to warm your own path. If you were born between the 6th and 10th and something stirred in you while hearing this, even if you don't know what it was, comment your birth number. Maybe your soul is simply remembering what it already knows. Group 3. Born between the 11th and 15th. If you were born between the 11th and 15th, your soul carries the mark of a seeker, someone whose past lives were devoted to knowledge above all else. You may have been an ancient astronomer, a monk in study, a wise woman who read nature's rhythms, or a scribe who protected forbidden truths, even under threat. Souls like yours come into this life with a deep restlessness. You're never quite satisfied with surface-level answers. You question everything, the world, people's motives, even your own emotions. And often you feel like an outsider for that. But here's the truth. It's not a flaw. It's your spiritual inheritance. In your past lives, you accumulated sacred knowledge. You lived to learn, to understand, to translate truth into meaning. But that gift came with a karmic weight, intellectual isolation, constant doubt, a persistent sense of searching for something you can't name, almost like homesickness for something you've never experienced. But still remember, the karma you carry is tied to a difficulty trusting the unseen. You've relied so much on reason that now you struggle to follow your intuition, even when it screams inside you. What was once rejected no longer has to be hidden. In this lifetime, you don't have to hide anymore. The energy of this moment is finally ready to receive what your soul has been carrying for centuries. You're not here by chance, and your time is now. If you were born between the 26th and 31st, and you've always felt like there's a quiet mission inside you, a sense of purpose you can't quite explain, drop your birth number in the comments. You might be closer to fulfilling it than you think. Have you ever felt like you're living the same story on repeat? Just in different chapters, new people, new places, but somehow the same ending. Relationships that start with passion but end with distance. Opportunities that show up, then vanish, just when you felt ready. Dreams that arrive strong and fade away for no clear reason. Take a deep breath now and ask yourself, How many times has this happened? That kind of repetition is not coincidence, and it's definitely not bad luck. It's your soul trying to remember what still needs closure, what was left undone in another lifetime, what once was a promise, a mission, a wound, still vibrating inside you. In psychology, there's a name for this: emotional repetition compulsion. It's when your unconscious pulls you into familiar patterns, not because you're broken, but because you're unknowingly trying to heal. Your soul doesn't want you to suffer. It just doesn't know another way to show you what still needs attention. And here's the wild part. While your conscious mind is trying to move on, the oldest part of you, the part that holds memories older than this life, is quietly trying to lead you back to where it all began. Sometimes it shows up as déjà vu. Other times it's just a restlessness you can't name, that subtle unease that shows up right when you're close to something important. It's like a whisper inside says, "We've been here before, and last time we couldn't finish." This is what therapists call archetypal reenactment. You relive roles, emotions, and wounds, not as punishment, but because your story is asking for a different ending. And maybe now you're starting to understand. You don't attract the same situations because you deserve pain. You attract them because, in this life, you finally have the power to close the loop. Maybe this is the exact point in your timeline where everything can change, not by chance, but because you arrived here with depth, with memory, with destiny. Most people spend their lives avoiding these patterns, never realizing they're actually portals to spiritual freedom. But the ones who get it, they don't repeat, they transform, they don't get lost, they wake up. Take a moment to reflect. What fears keep holding you back the most? What patterns have you accepted as just part of who I am? Where in your life do things keep coming back, even when you thought you'd already healed? These answers don't come from the mind. They come from the soul. And right now, at this point in the video, something begins to shift inside you. You start to see that these repetitions aren't just about pain. They're clues, tracks, callings, and only those who hear the call can break free from what was passed down through lifetimes. Only those who understand the root can write a new ending. Now imagine, what would your life be like without the loops? Without the fear of being abandoned, without the same old mistakes, without the empty spaces that keep returning? Imagine walking forward, knowing this is the last time you'll have to relive that wound, because now, now you've seen it, and now you get to choose differently. The simple fact that you're still here listening to this has already started to reprogram something inside you. Because when the soul is recognized, it stops screaming through pain. If this moment made sense to you, even if you can't fully explain why, drop your birth number in the comments. It might seem like a small thing, but it's actually a quiet vow to your soul. I'm ready to remember. You made it this far, not by accident, not out of random curiosity, but because, at some deeper level, your soul was already prepared to hear this. Maybe you started this video expecting something interesting. maybe even just spiritual entertainment. But as the words began touching places you didn't know were still open, something shifted inside you. A subtle memory, an old emotion, a kind of silence that speaks to your inner self. This isn't the kind of message you forget, because it doesn't just speak to your mind. It speaks to memories in your body, to your intuition, to the silence between your thoughts. Memories that have crossed centuries, lifetimes, experiences your rational brain doesn't remember, but your soul deeply feels. And now that you know, it becomes almost impossible to see your life the same way again. The day you were born isn't just a date on the calendar. It's the exact moment the universe handed you a second chance. A new page, a new story. But your story doesn't begin from scratch. It starts with everything that came before. Throughout this journey, you've heard about who you might have been, the karma you carry, and the mission your life is here to fulfill. And maybe, for the first time, the puzzle pieces started to fit. That unexplained fear, that feeling of not belonging, that painful loop you keep finding yourself in, now it has context. It has a root. It has a name. And that changes everything. Because once you understand the origin of pain, it stops being a mystery and becomes a choice. You can keep repeating, or you can begin to heal. The simple fact that you stayed with this video until now is already a sign that something inside you is ready for the next level. And even if you're still unsure, and that's totally okay, something greater is guiding you. Something led you to click this video. And even if you didn't know why, you kept watching, kept listening, kept feeling. That's the power of an inner calling. And the more you follow that call, the closer you get to who you truly are. Not who the world told you to be. Now that you've arrived at this spiritual mirror, there are 3 small but powerful things you can do to keep moving forward. First, drop your birth number in the comments. It might seem like a minor gesture, but it's a kind of energetic signature, a quiet moment of self-recognition, and more than that, you'll notice others with the same group, with patterns that mirror your own. It creates a sense of community, of belonging, and most importantly, a reminder that you're not alone. Second, share this video with someone you know, who's always felt there must be more out there. Someone caught in loops, doubts, or inner emptiness. This might be the message their soul has been waiting for. And you might be the bridge between their pain and their healing. Third, subscribe to this channel, not out of habit, but out of commitment. Commitment to yourself, to your path, to your soul's evolution, because here we talk about the things most people avoid, the things that hurt, but also awaken, the truths that have been sleeping inside you for many lifetimes. If something inside you stirred while watching this, if you felt a chill run through your body, your eyes tear up, or a strange stillness fall over you, don't ignore it. That's what we call a soul memory. And the ones who remember transform. The ones who listen awaken. The ones who say yes finally begin to live. You're not here by mistake. You're not hearing this by coincidence. You are exactly where your soul needed you to be. So now, close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath and just feel. You are not just who the world sees. You are an ancient, powerful, beautiful story. And that story is only just beginning.